Getting into it today. Let's see if the music getting picked up. Okay, good. So we're going to work on making some shape keys for our frills. So we got our little frill pieces here. We have the chin slider. But we'd also like for this frill right here kind of go in a few directions like this. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a little mesh proxy like this. And then it'll sample the normal and then just push out in a direction. So to do that, we're going to do a geometry node. Nodes. Geometry nodes. So we're going to take this object. We're going to add a geometry node and hit new. So this is our offset geometry via mesh or proxy normals. Obviously that's the best name. In fact, I'm going to undo that, save this, and we're actually going to do it in this other scene here. So, outliner, collection. Which one was this? Instance on curve. Hide that. Collection. This one will be offset selection via mesh proxy normals. You know, obviously that's what it would be called. Let me copy that. Add a modifier. I really don't like that the name can be different. I wish when you set the name here, if it just said geometry nodes, it would automatically update that name. It's annoying to have to set it every time. All right, so we have our object, which we're gonna add a subdivision modifier to. Keep it simple. And then for the geonode. So what it's going to do is take some object info relative here, and we'll make another object in here. This will be our little test object. Maybe I should do a collection. Probably just do this. So that way I can do both. And all I have to do is actually just realize this. And then I can use any of them. Okay. So all we really want to do is set the position of the vertices, which I'd like to be able to see. I feel like I should be able to see that. Let's just apply the subdivision. Two more. Oh, a little rounded. Who cares? Okay. One more time. Add an object. So we want each vertex to sample the normals of this object. So we'll say sample nearest surface. And we're going to be sampling the object here. And what we're going to get is a vector, the normal. Perfect. Beautiful. And that's cool. And then we can offset it. Does that work actually? So these points will sample, get the normal, and it should just go that way with the normal. I feel like that actually should be working. And it's not working because we actually didn't sample any object. Okay. Interesting. The fun effect. So we would also like to add the named attribute, which would be just a float. Or actually, I think I can just do... I think I can just make a float value. Yeah. Let's selection. And put right below the geometry. And we'll take our value and we'll scale it by this value. Okay. Which means now we can paint that influence. So if I go here, let's make a group. Smooth it a few times. Now, this geonode can select our group. Pretty cool. Since the normal, it's always 1 meter. So we'll want to take a scale. We'll not take a scale. And we'll also drop that onto another float value, which we'll call scale multiplier. And that will give us this slider, which we can now adjust or replace with another vertex group. I think for now we'll just do some adjustment. But that's beautiful, and we can always increase the resolution just by subdividing, which should give us slightly smoother results. We get rid of this group. Same one. Quite satisfying. There's probably some comparison I can do between the normals. Like the more aligned it is with the normal, the more the normal from this one is aligned with the actual normal, we would just use like dot product or something, and that would basically mean that if this normal, since this normal is perpendicular, we would get a 0. This would be 1. This would be 0. This would be -1 on this side. Okay, well, interesting. Not too worried about doing that right now. I think that'd probably be better as a completely separate node in the long run, but it's a fun effect. Turn this up too. Oops. Okay, use subdivisions there. It's interesting to see the jaggedness. And then here, Very satisfying. That's fun to play with. You could probably recreate this in a Unity shader pretty easily. Okay. What we could also do, and I will do this, is a distance. I'm going to include distance in this one. So we're going to do one more scale that we'll add here. And what we'll do is sample the proximity. Cat's on my keyboard right now. Pixie, you're chomping my hand. What are you doing, huh? You need violent. Hey, hey. She bit me. She actually sliced up my foot the other day, too. She was running around chasing a toy and just ran over my foot. Ooh, that hurt. So the distance here could plug directly into the scale, and that does some very interesting things right off the bat, but not what we want. What we want is a map range node. You know what? I take it back. I don't want to do that. This is simple, and I can control it with a selection. And that's enough. So we'll go to GeoNodes here, and we're going to take our nodes. Which one was that? Offset selection via proxy normal. You know, very easy to remember that name. All right, save that. Go back to our dragon. Search our assets. Should be via proxy normals. And we'll drop this right here. Beautiful. So now what we'd want to do, I'm actually going to take edge of this, duplicate it, separate it. So, and we need to create a collection here, which we'll call wing components. And we'll drop our little strand in there after we remove animation. Second object. Send this to wing components. Beautiful, and we'll call this body webbing normal offset. Yeah. Then that is the object we're going to sample for our offset. Set it to 1 to take a little look at it. Nothing's happening because there are no normals currently. The moment we do this, it works a little bit better. I'm going to do object, set origin to geometry, set the x to 0, and set back. Okay, so now we can see this offsetting happening, which is pretty interesting because it's looking at this object. Same thing, which we can smooth. And we can also begin to make our selection. So we don't want everything to be moved equally. So we're going to create a mask for the proxy. Oops. Man, I love those kinds of names, don't I? And we'll disable our geometry node for a moment. So we can just go ahead and white paint. Just gonna do this one. Nice and simple. Something like that. Do smooth, but then we also need to make sure that we're going to be a little bit more thorough. Make sure that we're using that mask, re-enable, and then we can adjust our scale multiplier. Something right about there. We're going to subdivide this. Some much smoother results. In fact, we'll probably do mesh, select, check our deselect, and just dissolve. That'll make it a little bit smoother because we're using a subdiv on it. So it's still a little too... That's probably good. Look at the wireframe. Interesting. This one looks kind of odd. But, you know what? I'm just going to completely redo it. Just because that way we're going to get some much nicer results. Could have probably used a curve additionally. Anyway, that looks good. Getting some nice sampling. We can probably increase the amount of displacement here. I kind of want this spine more over here. That should be possible. Hello, Arctic. Good morning. Actually, yeah. Kind of like that more. Okay. Now, the one major issue is the front here. Cool. So this is great, but we actually need to go back and edit our geonode because we want to save this as a shape key. So we'll take the group and duplicate, and then we'll rename this save attribute. Okay. So now that we've done that, back to GeoNodes here. So this offset value, instead of setting position, we'll just save attribute, store attribute. This is a vector on every point. Put it here. And we'll also add an input. And the name is up to us. So, oh, balls. I just did this on the wrong group. Okay, that's fine. Unpin. Store the vector on each point. Fox Gamer Pro, is your camera not on? Yes, at the moment. I'm just munching on some stuff right now, but I'll probably turn on the webcam a little later. Good morning. And hello, Daisy. Good morning to you as well. Hope you're all having an amazing Thursday. We'll do input. Save that name there. Yeah. Just leave it blank for now. That should be good. So we'll set this to... Oh, then we just need to mark it as... Thank you for the sub, Daisy. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a good one. We make a lot of VR chat avatars on here and stuff like that. So mostly a work stream. Because I'm lazy. Well, not lazy, but kind of a simple stream. Making sure, and hopefully your Thursday good too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. And yeah, it's good so far. Chilling, relaxing, working. All that fun stuff. I should have added a visualize option. Oh. And sample the proxy again. SK body pro scale. Decided to make one small changes to my fort, extending the walls into the ground a bit more, so now I'm redoing the UVs and texture masks. Well, good luck. The work never ends. I just didn't want the walls floating over the train, so now I suffer. That's a treat. Ooh, excuse me. It's just an actual attribute. I can't sample it. I guess I could actually. It's complicated. Okay, let's go back one more time to our other scene so we can adjust our object here, because we would like to be able to visualize our change. And in order to do that, we need a switch. We'll put this here. Call it visualize offset. Have a wonderful day. I gotta go to work. Well, enjoy your day, Daisy. Thank you for coming by and thank you for the sub. Have a good one. Bye. Didn't want the walls floating over the train, so now I suffer. Certainly some scale right there. All right, so now we have that. We got this stuff here. what I'd like to do is transfer that to the other important pieces that work with this, which is the actual body. So in the body, these spines here need to do something very, very similar. So we'll create that mask name as a vertex group. Then I'm going to add a data transfer. We're going to sample the frill, and I would like I would like the selection. Okay, perfect. That will work perfectly. Vertex group. Vertex groups. I just want this one. And we just made it, and we have it now. This one. Okay, perfect. Which means that once we add that, once we add that, then we add on the other. So, boom. Doesn't seem to be scaling anymore. Yeah, what the heck? Let's go back. Almost ready to share the whip world, though. Ironed out the worst of the goofs, I think. Heck yeah. Hmm. Wasn't this working just a second ago? Why is it no longer doing its thing? There we go. I swear I was clicking that a second ago and it wasn't working. But now it's working. And now we can re-enable it. Boom, boom. Copy to selected. Now we should have the same object here, but it doesn't look like our mask is getting picked up right here. Let me just assign everything to it. All right, that certainly is a thing. I kind of like how the face came out. This actually be a good, really nice way to do like an edit for a face. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call for 1 second. Hey everyone, I actually have a chore I need to go run, so I'll be back in just a little bit. I'm just gonna keep the stream going. I'll probably be back in about 30. You know what? I'm just gonna end it. Sorry for the sudden change.